and welcome to this week's 30-minute webinar. My name is John Deline, and I'll be your host for today's session. I am joined today by my fellow systems engineer, the incomparable Matt Sykes. How are you doing today, Matt?
I'm doing just fine, John. How are you, sir?
I'm, I'm pretty good. All right, our upcoming 16.1 release will include report enhancements for the Zoom platform. Matt is going to show us what those enhancements are. And here's our agenda for today. First, we'll start off with a quick overview of our company and what we do. Next, we'll jump into a live demo where Matt will take us through report enhancements for Zoom and Verify Release 16.1. Then we'll pause for Q&A. So during the demo, if you have any questions, please submit them in the webinar chat. After Q&A, we'll award one lucky attendee with a $50 Amazon gift card. So hang around to see if you've won. Verify is the preferred analytics and management solution for your migration and ongoing collaboration needs. Deployable either on-prem or as a hosted cloud solution, we provide industry-leading Call Manager, Cube, UCCX, Zoom Phone, WebEx calling, and MS Teams analytics, along with a host of other Cisco Call Manager-related tools, including remote phone control, change management, DN and DID management, and more. Let Verify be the solution to all your collaboration needs. If you have any questions on any of our offerings, please contact us at support@verify.com or reach out to your Verify Success Manager. One more thing before we kick this off. Verify does offer an enhanced consulting service to all of our customers. Verify's SE team will engage with you on a one-on-one basis to remotely provide additional consulting, report building, dashboard configuration, and system monitoring assistance. This is a service that provides you with a dedicated Verify SE to do the heavy lifting, giving you a stress-free, hands-off experience. For more information on our ECS service or any of our services, please feel free to reach out to our customer success team at success@verify.com. We'd be glad to speak to whether ECS is a good fit for your organization. I'm going to hand things off to Matt now. Please remember to submit any questions in the chat and we'll address them towards the end of this presentation. All right, over to you, Matt.
All right, thank you, John. I think you should be able to see my screen.
Yep.
Let me pull this guy out of the way. Okay, so all right, welcome everyone. Matt Sykes here with Verify once again. As John stated, today's session is highlighted for Zoom reporting improvements in Verify 16.1. But first, I did just want to touch and reinforce, the biggest update, that's coming in Verify 16.1, which is support for the MS Teams dashboard widgets, which Victor and Jim covered on last week's webinar. But just to touch on it very briefly, as you can see here with the dashboard that I'm sharing on monitor 2 here, so there's definitely, pardon me, as you can see, there's the same look and feel that we have for all of our supported platforms. So again, I don't have other platform data on this board here. Certainly, I could insert, Call Manager, WebEx, Zoom, all different types of supported platforms underneath the Verify umbrella on a single dashboard. So kind of giving that single pane of glass for whatever managerial review or supervisor aesthetics that are needed for metrics for any environment. So just kind of want to make mention of that. So definitely the org-based reporting, its extension tracking, call volume summaries, hunt group breakdowns and usages are all here for reporting and dashboarding for MS Teams within Verify now. Okay, but obviously the main component of today is to discuss the Zoom reporting improvements that kind of are, I wouldn't say second fiddle, but maybe not the core improvement for the Verify 16.1 release here. But just to make mention, and I will here, is going to be some background information, if you will, real briefly here. So just want to share with everyone. Last December of 23, Zoom released an updated version of their call log API, a 2.0, if you will. So while with Verify version 16.1, we have introduced support for this new API. And this API actually does improve and provide improved calling data, additional fields, and a huge improvement to its predecessor, the previous 1.0 API. Zoom is deprecating their 1.0 API, and Verify has updated, migrated to support the new 2.0 API in Verify 16.1. Okay. And secondarily, so again, I mean, Zoom did add a lot of additional data elements to their call logs in this new API, and that should allow some degree of better tracing of call sequences, and that should allow us to develop the needed cradle to grave reporting in a future release of Verify. Now, I'm not saying Zoom cradle to grave reporting is available now or it will be in our next release, but this newest Zoom API has opened the door for verified development to be able to code and provide full call flow experience sequencing reporting in the near future. So, okay, so for today, one of the main things also in the 2.0 API release is going to be improvements on abandoned call tracking. Calls there, to call queues and to common areas specifically. The previous API was a little lacking, I would say, on uncovering and categorizing and classifying a lot of abandonment calls within the environment. Definitely out in the field. That's definitely a very kind of go-to metric for a lot of people. People want to know how many calls are being presented to their environment or to their groups or to their teams, and what's being handled, and then obviously the converse of that, what's not being handled, what's being disconnected or purposely, abandoning, or people's hanging up if there's not enough staff to service these calls or too long of wait times, et cetera, et cetera. So definitely, that's definitely one proponent we always want to make sure that is nailed down properly for us. So the reporting is as well polished as we can make it. Um, so just want to drive on that a little bit here. So it will somewhat be seen as an unseen kind of improvement within Verify. In 16.1 here, there's no pretty bells or whistles that's going to call out, hey, this is new abandonment logic, or this is a new abandoned call that we didn't previously have, et cetera, et cetera. So it's going to be somewhat an unseen improvement, but definitely for accuracy and reliability. Now, while I'm not going to go into the depth of the API differences or deficiencies, just take me at my word that this improvement is a very reliable for tracking these abandoned calls moving forward. Okay. So just starting out here, just looking at the dashboard here, this is a quick dashboard I threw together from some lab data that I have here in one of my systems here. It's got some March data I guess I'm keying off of here. So again, as always, we can look at the data elements. We can see what the answer rates are, but definitely the abandonment stuff is kind of what I'm driving on here. So how many calls are abandoning? What are the abandonment rates looking like? This is much more accurate now with the new API moving forward. So if we need to, we can definitely always build around these elements as well to kind of showcase the increased abandonment identification, let's just say. So within Verify, we also have plenty of filters as always, but definitely just want to maybe drive on something maybe that's more specific for abandoned calls. So we definitely can key off of duration. So abandoned calls are always going to be of the zero duration variety, whether or not I want to look at them in at zero duration only or only include zero duration calls. But also we definitely have a filter that can call upon them as well. It's called call scenario types. Let me zoom in for your eyes and for the benefit of the recording. But yes, call scenario types is a fantastic filter that we have, and we can easily hit this pick list here and specify, the calling scenario type that you wish to utilize as a filter in a verify report or in one of these widgets as well. So in this example, kind of mock-up widget here that I'm keying off just for abandonment call volumes, pretty straightforward. I came to the search criteria, looked for it's in here at the moment, but I'm just get rid of it. Looked in the pick list, type some key letters or characters, and I can see underneath analytics, there is call scenario types right there. I can add that criteria and lock that into a report or like a dashboard widget like we're entertaining right here. Pick abandoned calls right off the top of the list, and then go ahead and save that, and probably include a time frame as well, and have the luxury of being able just to lock in only the 86 abandoned calls out of these 3,000+ calls for the sample data here that we're entertaining. Now, furthermore, off of that, maybe we want to know some additional information off of this. Maybe we want to know, where's the abandonment happening? Are these on outbound calls? Are these on inbound calls? Do we care about abandoned outbound calls? Well, there is classification for abandonment for calls, being placed outbound from the environment. But if that's of no consequence, certainly we can certainly employ another filter as well to only lock in perhaps maybe inbound calls that are of the abandoned variety. So nice thing with the Zoom data set as well, we do have a direction filter as well. Now, while nothing new, just something that can be easily paired with this is a search function filter as well. So again, like I was making mention, if inbound abandoned calls to an environment is only what's concerning or on the mind, if you will, maybe not so much internals or outbound calls of the abandonment variety solely, it's very easy to go ahead and piggyback an additional filter here and add inbound direction and with the match all criteria toggle too. identify only the inbound calls. Now, we can also then group this information as always as well. So if now, while I think I have more outbound abandons than inbounds or internals, if we want to look at the number or the name of the person or maybe the site label from the Zoom phone system for where these calls have onus of abandonment, let's just say. Now, these examples, I'm just kind of cheating here and using uh, uh, digits or extension numbers here in these two, but certainly these can resonate and can certainly be built out much more in depth to identify and get that kind of that pinpoint kind of look and feel that a manager may want to see. Okay. As an example here, of these 86 abandoned calls that I have locked in here, I can also even list out the very granularity of these in a dashboard widget if I wanted to, kind of in a history details. So while we can see here in this table view here, we can see that these calls from March 18th here, but I now have that call scenario type in here, profoundly, shouting out that this is an abandoned call. So we can see that this is an abandoned call. There is no duration on this. It was not connected. We can certainly see what the ring time was. So definitely, that's always a viable metric. I always, mention to people as well when I'm building out things out in the field is, okay, is this kind of a one-off? Was this, someone rang for 1 second and didn't even give somebody an option to answer said call? Was it, maybe an outbound kind of fat finger dial potentially? Or, is there some serious, ring time on these calls that are calling in that are having, abandonment classifications on them? And is it something that needs to be looked into a little more thoroughly? Do we have a user problem? Do we have a device problem? Is there a software problem on one of these devices for one of these users, et cetera? So there's definitely kind of viable options to go ahead and identify that. But then we can also call upon the other data points that we want to see for these records actually in their detail. Do we want to see their usernames, their site or organizational informations like site and departments? Again, we can certainly bake in the directions of these calls as well. While I don't have that many inbounds, but again, if I wanted to only nail this down to be only inbound call traffic, again, very easy for me to do so. The bread and butter filter I'm using right now is the scenario types on abandoned calls. But again, let me just go ahead and employ that inbound direction filter real briefly. I do believe I only have the one. They are going to be ANDed together with the match all criteria toggle. So go ahead and saving this should collapse this table down to one row, I do believe. That's all I have in this lab at the moment. But if this was what a manager or supervisor is looking to kind of keep tabs on, how many calls are calling in of the inbound variety that are abandoning? Where were they destined to be, to be presented to? Again, what was that ring time? What was the abandoned average ring time on all these calls that have the abandonment classifications on them? And then again, do we need to kind of chase down some of the further information? Where was that call on its way to? Was it on its way to a call queue? Was it on its way to a common area? But then again, is there a long wait time? Is there a long ring duration for those calls where there may be some staffing concerns, if you will? So there's definitely plenty of options in Verify, as always, that we can go ahead and slice and dice this data pretty easily. So let me just remove that and jump back. Okay. So, and then the same thing will bear through for, for reports as well. So whether or not I'm, running an abandoned report, certainly one of the Zoom templates that we have in our arsenal. So, again, this will certainly flow through with the new, 2.0 Zoom API, but again, there will be much more accuracy and reliability on these abandonment statistics because more are being classified now. But again, here's an example of those 86 calls that we're just kind of briefly looking at here in this dashboard widget. Same measurable, I guess, output, if you will, here for these statistics, just for this time frame in March. Breakdowns for those counts, maybe week over week. That average ring duration, I always say, is very important as well. But then again, I'm not here to bore you with graphical representation, but again, do we need to get down to that granular level? Do we need to have all these calls in here in a detailed view so that we can see what's going on? Is there something, is there a bad moss score, or is there some common patterns? Is there repeat people that are that are not answering these calls, or dodging calls as an example? So definitely the granularity visibility is definitely always available in Verify. So definitely do want to make mention of that. Let's slide real briefly over to the call analytics module here. So within the analytics module, which is definitely deposits us right into the history section, which is pretty much a quick search option that I that I advocate for everywhere I go. But we can certainly, see all the granularity of the data elements. Again, as I made mention, so I'm running this a very wide open filter here. But again, if we're looking to track down those abandonment calls, again, I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did in that widget. We can key off of that search filter or criteria type, and then go ahead and pick abandoned calls off the top of the list. Let me, another fantastic update for Verify 16.1. We've moved the time window in this page. So, whereas the history section before, the time window in the history section was in the upper right here, now it's tightly tightened up and buttoned up over here in the upper left here with all the other stack of quick search options. So my time window's over here. I went right when I should have went left. I'll just go ahead and key on the previous quarter here. That's fine, but I should be able to find. Ooh, excuse me. Let me go ahead and search for the March timeframe. I thought I had that. So if I do the previous 2 months, where are my 86? There they are. I was grabbing some data from January. I think that was inflating my counts. But again, back to the 86, I was kind of entertaining here. So again, if we need to see this in their very granular detail elements, that can certainly be put onto a dashboard widget, into a report, or even as quickly viewed here from the history section. Definitely all the um, column options are going to be available for a user to go ahead and add these into the grid results. But definitely there's plenty of other options in the listing on the left here that can certainly be swapped out in lieu of or in addition to any of these components. So you got your callers, you got your callees, you have your directions, we have call queues, call groups, common areas, voicemail recognition, those scenario types. This column is actually new in the details section as well, which I'm thankful it is here because it definitely gives you a good look feel kind of for administrative kind of troubleshooting. What's going on? Are these connected calls? Are they answered calls? Are they abandoned calls? Now, while these 86, I'm solely searching on the type of abandoned. I could be searching on other ones or total calls and see everything that's in this lab data set as well. And then those scenario types on the right here in this column here would certainly signify, whether it was a connected connected call, answered call, not connected, abandoned, voicemail, etc. So definitely a very powerful column actually to have in the data set, in addition to what's already been here for a while now. So, okay, so just kind of getting that out of the way. Again, very kind of I guess, unseen improvement, if you will, to the abandon reporting for Verify for the Zoom phone stuff. But again, very more accurate and reliable on the with the the new Zoom 2.0 API. Okay. All right. Gonna keep that short and sweet. Certainly, I can, I could bore you with all my dashboards and all my reports. We could, get into the nitty gritty with certain things for quality, or again, further things on abandonment. Who are the users that our calls are abandoning on, et cetera, et cetera. So there's definitely plenty of stuff that I could drive on with that. But I do want to, I guess, switch gears a little bit. Because I think it's pretty straightforward, exactly, the reliability and accuracy that's going to be coming forth from the Verify reporting on the Zoom phone reportings for the abandonment moving forward. But there's other things with regards to upgrading your instance of Verify from from 16.0 to 16.1 as an example, outside of just MS Teams and stuff like that, and just the new bells and whistles. But what I do want to state is, I mean, even if you're not running on WebEx, Zoom, or MS Teams, and you still have an on-prem call manager, I mean, it is still wise to keep the Verify application updated with regularity, because there's always all kinds of different updates, whether they're Java updates, Tomcat, SQL stuff, Linux OS updates. I mean, there's plenty of those that definitely can be taken advantage of just by simply upgrading on the Verify quarterly kind of routines. And that's not even to talk about some bug fixes that there could potentially be there that were unforeseen at one point. So if you're running on an older release of Verify and you're running into into a roadblock for something, chances are we probably have already been notified about that and have fixed it and put it to bed. And not to say that also there's going to be CVEs that pop up every once in a while. Now, CVEs, excuse me, common vulnerabilities and exposures. I mean, Verify takes these very seriously, and we act very swiftly to resolve any known CVEs for the application that could be impacting any environment that we're deployed within or data points that we're entertaining. So just kind of like wanting to kind of keep regular updates of the application. Because again, as an example, I didn't even know myself, shame on me, I didn't even know until about a few days ago that in the history section, and this will be for all the platforms as well, just not Zoom, but no, the search time window being moved over. I I thought that was fantastic because a lot of the times when I'm supporting people and it's trying to shoot them over a quick screenshot, I mean the time window kind of pulling that down and kind of giving people steps with just kind of screenshot images, was a little taxing. Now I can just make it nice, short, and sweet, but also it's right here, so your eyeballs don't have to go far. You don't have to kind of worry about on the far right of the screen or the top or the bottom. They're all nice and neatly kind of packaged together here, one at a time. And as an example, what it looked like if you are unfamiliar, this is 16.0, and here I am in the history section. The time window is right over here. So now this has all been buttoned up over here. Things look nice and clean and are pretty sleek looking in in my estimation. But I know this is probably a quicker webinar than most are used to from me. But just wanted just to drive home that Verify is now supporting the Zoom Phone 2.0 API now moving forward, and there's definitely advantages and accuracy for abandoned call reporting moving forward in the application.
I want to take a moment to thank everybody who attended today. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules to join us. Our next session will be on May 8th. You can jump out to next week's webinar, which is how to customize your user experience. Feel free to click on that link and sign up straight away. We'd love to have you. Thanks again, everyone, and have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you all.